are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the God Loop Podcast. I'm Dylan, able to take on Twitter. Here talking the latest Auburn athletics news, as we actually have some football news to talk about today. Of course, end of the show will be the Way-Too-Early SZN Preview Series continuation going into the Ball State game. It'll be a very quick one. I don't think that game requires too much preview this early on in the year. But of course, Auburn recruiting news. Auburn adding another commitment to the class of 2026 and gaining their first commitment of the class of 2027. So the class 2026 currently stands per 24/7 as the number 35 class in the country, with 8 current commitments. And of course, that latest one being 3-star running back Eric Perry out of DeSoto Central High School, I presume, in South Haven, Mississippi. Running back staying at 6 foot, 195 pounds. It currently has a 3-star, ranked as the number 125 athlete in the class, as well as number 52 overall prospect in the state of Mississippi. But Composite has him 35th player in Mississippi. Now, this is a guy who, this is his biggest offers, and of course he committed right away. Is Auburn, Jackson State, Murray State, North Alabama, Sacramento State, and Utah State. Only one P4 opportunity was given to Eric Perry so far, and committed right away. It was just on a visit just last week, according to 24/7. Of course, committed on the spot. Eric Perry, of course, a running back, and I keep saying, of course, Eric Perry. A running back who is a playmaker in every sense of the word. He's got one-cut ability, so quick, so fast, can make guys miss. And his vision, there are a ton of plays. Of course, he played quarterback for DeSoto Central because, when you're that good of an athlete, you're going to play quarterback. Has breakaway speed, just is an absolute monster against defenses. And I'm currently just watching film on him as I'm talking about him. Able to break tackles and break off of would-be tacklers with his abilities to cut back. One of my favorite plays I saw of him, it was a quarterback counter play. Ran to the right, ran to the left, hit the back of no lineman because the defense made that big of a push, overcommitted to the left side, and backed off, kept his footing, and realized with all the defense going to the left, he's able to cut to the right. So he just cuts out right and just beats everybody to the corner of the end zone. It's a great pickup for Auburn. And of course, with this being the fourth acquisition of an offensive player, third acquisition in this recruiting class, of course, you see that the shift. You have Devin Carter, who Auburn is currently always trying to recruit and keep on, keep committed to Auburn. Denarius Gray, who is, I believe, the first commit of the 2026 class. Auburn trying to keep him. You have 2 wide receivers in this class, offensive linemen. You struggled last year getting running backs. You had to get Omar Mapson, who actually would be a part of this 2026 class had he not reclassified. You wanted 2 running backs. You get a running back in this class, and I think you struck gold with a player that no one's really looking at right now. Of course, with Auburn offering him and getting the commitment, is going to get a lot more attention towards Eric Perry. And with how talented he is, I mean, dude earns it. I don't know if he'll end his high school career as a 3-star. Just kind of watching his film, he is an athlete in every sense of the word. And if he stays committed to Auburn, he's going to make Auburn fans very happy. But if he goes somewhere else, he's going to make someone else very happy. He is just that good of a player. Of course, he has a little bit of an arm. I don't think he's going to be recruited as a quarterback, though. Does make some good throws in his highlight film. But that speed, the breakaway speed, the cutting ability, dude's a dog. Dude's an absolute dog. Great pickup, underrated pickup in that regard. Gonna get a lot more attention as his high school career comes to an end this upcoming season. Now, going into the class 2027, of course, I mentioned Auburn does have Their first commitment in safety, Jaylen Scott out of Mobile, Alabama. Bruce Pearl. Hugh Freeze been very adamant on recruiting the state of Alabama very, very well. So far in the class of 2026, only got 2 players from Alabama, but shoot 100% in this class. Jaylen Scott, safety, just athletic safety, would be willing tackler. And that's always a excuse me. What's a description that I love giving to safeties? You know, I said with Champ Anthony, whenever he or a JUCO, I don't know that it's transfer committed to Auburn. Watching his tape, Champ Anthony, undersized safety, corner, nickel, whatever Champ Anthony, you want to call him. Whenever he was in JUCO, he made the most out of his size, being that much smaller than everybody. Tackled with fury, and you get that with Jaylen Scott. Currently a 6 foot, height-wise, good height. 165 is his weight. Currently listed as number 9 safety in the country, number 5 player in the state of Alabama, and number 90 national player. Able to make plays all over the field. Just absolute dude, and a guy who Coach Crime Dawg is going to love to coach. And of course, with him being, Auburn has been very adamant about these young DBs, getting them in early. Imagine that was probably the sell. You're looking at going into this year, Caleb Harris, you got Terrence Love, you have all of these guys that are going to be, playing, or Sylvester Smith, sorry. They're going to be playing as sophomores. Technically, I think is a junior, but he was able to play as a sophomore a lot. But you're getting a great player in Jaylen Scott who can lay the shoulder on anybody, no matter what size they are. And that's something you love to see in a safety, especially one with, at 165 is crazy. Auburn struck gold twice yesterday, getting 2 big-time commitments, starting off the class 2027 off right. Currently number 16 in the nation in the class 27, but of course, no one's fully recruiting the class 27 right now. Of course, I think the most someone has is like 3 commitments. But regardless, you're starting off right, getting a top-end safety that is really good. I think you hit on both of them. Eric Perry, of course, going to be the most one closer to getting here. Dude's a dog. Dude is an absolute dog, and I cannot wait to see how his career ends off in high school. I think he probably could earn that 4th star going forward. But a big time pickup, nonetheless. Absolute dog. But now, as we continue on, let me know what you think of the commitments in the comment section below. We're going to quick little break. Let's have a break. Talk a little bit about Ball State before we get out of here. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back as I lose my... There we go. Right back. Are you tired of having to rummage through just clothes after clothes after clothes, looking for something to wear? Are you tired of your friends making fun of you for your terrible fashion sense? Well, do we have the shirt for you? Go to thewarreport.com, get your laptop out and do it right now. Go to the shop and get your very own Feelin' Loopy t-shirt as well as your college loop hat, and you can get both of them for only $25 each. Plus shipping and handling, of course. But with that, now back to your regular scheduled program. Available on thewarreport.com. Go to the shop and you'll get your own Feelin' Loopy t-shirt as well as your college loop hat. Welcome to items you can wear in your entire life. Of course, merch is not the best way to support the channel. The best way to support the channel, of course, by liking the video and subscribing to the channel, letting us know what you think of the commitments Auburn picked up yesterday. Of course, recruiting has been going kind of slow, but it's always big time whenever you get to talk about some recruiting news as we get ready for week 2 of the Way-Too-Early SZN Preview Series. As we're going right now, Auburn is currently 1-0 in my predictions, closely beating Baylor. Ball State, again, next 2 weeks are going to be kind of slow. Hopefully news comes up and I can kind of rearrange how I talk about these. I don't like talking about the non-con games early on the show. So Ball State, not the best team in the world, not the worst team either. A team that finished 9th in the MAC last year. Again, I say not the worst, but they're going to be coming off of a game against the P4 opponent in Purdue, who jury's out whether that's going to be a win or a loss or not. Last year, well, never mind. Ball State's pretty bad, 3-9. I didn't realize it was 3-9 schedule. Losing their quarterback and lost a lot of talent, actually. Only returning 6 starters, which actually might be pretty good for them. Going into the first year of a new head coach right now. So you're looking at a new quarterback situation, right? Bringing Walter Taylor out of Vanderbilt. But I think right now the presumptive starter is Keal Kelly, who was a starter just a couple years ago in 2023 as a starting quarterback, but made the shift to wide receiver last year and did not perform very well. 4 catches for negative 19 yards. In 2023, a dual threat quarterback in every sense of that word because he ran for more yards than he passed for. 135 carries, 724 yards with 7 touchdowns on the ground. 66 of 124, only completed 53% of his passes, 577 yards, 2 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. Ran the ball a lot more than he passed it in 2023. So right now he is the presumptive starter, and in that season where he was the quarterback, they went 4-8. I don't imagine them to be much better than that. I think again, that's why I don't want to spend way too much time on this preview, as well as the South Alabama one next week, or even the Mercer one in a few weeks down the line when we're getting closer to football season starting up. But of course, I think again, this is a game that you go into. It's the first home game of the season. You're looking to impress the home fans. Hopefully you've already impressed them by beating Baylor. Now you get to put it on in Jordan-Hare Stadium. I think, again, this is going to be a big-time win. This is typically the games Auburn looks the best in because these are the games you can run up the score on. I think you can remember the score against Ball State. I don't think that's it's a hot take. I don't think anyone's calling that a hot take. Ball State is not a team that is going to do much to really hopefully scare Auburn. Last year they played against a P4, played against a couple of P4 opponents. Miami beat them 62-0. Going down the line, James Madison beat them 63-7. They played against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt almost lost that game 24-14. But again, Vanderbilt's just a weird school. They last year especially was very weird to watch them play. I think that was a fluke. But I think this is going to be it's not going to be an upset. It's going to be Auburn laying it down and being the absolute crap out of Ball State. So yeah, that's what season keeps going on. This is going to be a game to add up the stats. This is going to be a game where you hopefully get to see Deuce Knight go in there, Ashton Daniels go in there. You're going to see a fair share of the younger guys getting their opportunities versus Ball State, probably the next week too against South Alabama. So yeah, continuing on with the season preview series, Auburn's going to beat down Ball State. Not returning in a lot of talent, did not perform well the past couple of years, kind of on a downward trajectory. If you go from 4-8, 3-9, might be Purdue. Could be Purdue. I don't imagine Purdue's going to be too good either. Purdue, one of the worst teams in college football last year. Ball State not far off. So, yeah, I'm not too high on Ball State, which I don't think most people would be. They're not returning a lot of talent on a team that was very bad. But attacked the portal very well. 16 players from the portal going to Ball State. Also added in 16 recruits. But Auburn starts the year 2-0. You're a third of the way there to bowl eligibility. But regardless, it's a game Auburn should and will win nonetheless. So next week, of course, we have South Alabama, and then after that, we get into the good of the season with SEC conference play starting. in just a couple of weeks. So stay tuned. Hopefully news comes up. I'll have conversations to talk about instead of talking about South Alabama and then Mercer down the line. I want the headliners to be, of course, Oklahoma, A&M, Georgia. You get the gist. SEC games and Baylor are going to be the big-time games in this series. So thank you all for tuning in to some of the College Loop podcast. Of course, I'm delighted on Twitter. And, of course, don't forget to check us out on social media platforms. Every single one of them, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, the works. All of the College Loop. Of course, you got me on Instagram as well. I don't like to DYLN, LARCK. Twitter, at Yable the Tank, at YABOY the Tank. And, of course, TikTok, you got me there as well, at Yable the Tank yet again. You also got Tank Talks Football, a project I'm starting up very, very soon, just trying to get all the back end stuff out of the way. But, of course, thanks for tuning in to some of the College Loop podcast yet again. And, as always, War Eagle.